Hello and thanks for joining us. Today we're asking, should foreign tourists pay more than locals to enter museums in France? That's the question at the heart of a growing debate as the country hikes ticket prices for non-European visitors at major cultural sites. The Louvre and the Palace of Versailles, along with several others, are raising their fees for non-EU adults. The idea is to help fund heritage without burdening French taxpayers. But critics argue it undermines the universal ideals these institutions represent. Laura Di Biasio reports.
This is Versailles. Its world-famous palace attracts nearly 85 million visitors a year, the vast majority of whom are foreign tourists. But from now on, the entry ticket will vary according to your passport. An extra €3 entry fee for non-Europeans, over half of its foreign visitors. Americans especially fear it will impact them.
I think it will, which is certainly sad because it is very important historically and culturally.
It's not really fair.
Some people live off tourism, so I think it's good that foreign visitors pay a bit more.
It's a whole new system at the ticket office.
You prepare your ID, please, and you can go to the control.
A line for Europeans who must prove their nationality and another for the other foreign visitors. France's museums are banking on the fact that when tourists come from far away, they are willing to pay a little more.
What's the difference between a guy who lives here, a European, and a guy who comes from Brazil, like me, for example? We're tourists. We want to see culture, so I don't see any reason for this rule.
I think it discourages foreigners from visiting the palace a little.
These new rates are meant to bring an extra €9 million per year in revenue for Versailles.
All of this contributes to financing very important costs. We have more than €200 million in investments for fire safety at the palace, for instance, which is a priority.
Several French cultural sites, including the Louvre, will apply this new measure, which is expected to bring in between 20 and 30 million euros per year, all in the name of preserving France's cultural heritage.
And the debate over how to fund and protect cultural sites doesn't stop at France's borders. In Rome, authorities are introducing a small fee for all visitors to access the Trevi Fountain. Longer, free and open part of the city's street life, the Baroque masterpiece is now grappling with the pressures of over-tourism. Antonia Kerrigan reports now.
A selfie in front of the Trevi Fountain has become obligatory for anyone discovering the Eternal City. But as of February, it will be harder to come by, as local authorities are introducing a €2 fee to come up close to the Baroque masterpiece.
Why not? If it allows them to maintain the fountain, it might be a solution. Rather than trying to raise the money through tax, have visitors pay €2 isn't bad.
I'd make the effort because all this is why I'm coming to Rome, so I don't mind.
I think it's worth the €2. I mean, everyone throws coins in anyway, so it won't make much of a difference.
To reduce crowds at the 18th century landmark, authorities introduced a cap on numbers last year. Visitors are counted in and counted out, with a maximum of 400 around the water feature at any given time. They're asked to finish their ice creams before entering to prevent litter. But these restrictions have hardly dampened the appeal of the monument. Last year, 9 million people visited, and not all respected the no-bathing policy, particularly in the hot summer months. Apparently undeterred by fines. The fountain will remain free of charge for Roman residents who will queue separately, to the irritation of other Italians.
Tourists coming from outside Rome are already spending their money here, so they're already contributing to the city. I don't think it's fair to make people pay to see beautiful things.
The City Council believes this measure could bring in €6.5 million a year, allowing them to protect this masterpiece with its columns, statues and cascades from the elements and from over-tourism.
Meanwhile, the West African country of Benin is betting big on culture to draw visitors, pouring around $2 billion into tourism as it looks to reshape its international image. At the heart of that effort is Voodun, a religion long misunderstood abroad, often reduced to stereotypes of black magic and the occult. Every January, the Vodun Days festival sets out to challenge these cliches, celebrating rituals, music and performances. Olivia Salazar-Winspear reports now.
Ancestral rites, rituals and performances celebrated in the birthplace of Voodun. Animist traditions are at the centre of this festival in the coastal city of Ouidah. Among the tens of thousands of visitors, many Beninese people living in Europe and foreign travellers keen to get an insight into practices that have often been characterised as diabolical or dangerous.
It's a chance for Benin to show off its culture, which is also important. I think it's important to break down stereotypes of like the Westerners have of voodoo and learn something new.
These performances are far from historical recreations. Many people in Benin still practice Vodun traditions, like making offerings to their deities.
It's clear that modernity should not be an obstacle to tradition. And tradition should not be closed off. I'm convinced, and I speak with certainty, that in the years to come, I will be recognized for what I do in Alada, for the authenticity that exists in Alada.
Organisers have been careful to separate inclusive, artistic events from more sensitive religious practices and sacred initiation ceremonies. Vodun dignitaries have avoided any animal sacrifices during the festival.
We've done everything necessary to avoid slipping into caricature or turning this into an amusement park, because what we're doing here is of great importance to Benin, to understand Benin's history and culture.
In its third year now, the festival took place under high security after a failed coup in December sparked concerns across the country. Meanwhile, Benin's government is pinning its hopes on tourism, investing some $2 billion in cultural events like this festival, an attempt to grow the sector in the years to come.
Well, to a new film now, which follows 5 teenage migrants as they take their first steps here in France. The documentary Tout va bien, or Everything's Fine in English, is out in French cinemas and has already been screened to thousands of high school students. The director, Thomas Ellis, told us about the challenges faced by minors who make the perilous journey across the Mediterranean, hoping to find safety and freedom in Europe.
Everything's fine, the message their families have been waiting to hear. This film follows 5 unaccompanied minors in Marseille trying to start new lives in Europe.
Antara anak demand ke jangan dunia demand quoi. Maintenant pour ce quand maintenant mais aucun kramo fera quoi ko kramo dinne ko kata kata na foyer de la quoi. Na fara kini kramo ta yoro kile wo chamai kramo fala ni la ka dendi ma.
To be able to go to school, to be taken into care, and sleep in a shelter, they must be recognized as minors. So child welfare services carry out assessments, they interview these teenagers, observe their behavior, and sometimes carry out bone tests to assess the age of these children. Because often they have no documents and no passport to prove their age.
Director and journalist Thomas Ellis charts their struggles and their successes. The filmmaker chose not to evoke the perilous journey across the Mediterranean, focusing instead on their daily lives in France.
And yes, the film shows certain hardships, how they manage to navigate the system, how they find a job, how they go to school, how they learn French. But it also shows young people playing football, laughing with friends, living their lives. It shows what it is to be a teenager.
A documentary that reveals the faces behind the statistics. In 2024, 13,500 young migrants were recognised as unaccompanied minors upon arrival in France.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. We're going to leave you with images from a dazzling new exhibition at the British Museum in London, exploring Hawaii's cultural heritage and its complicated history with Britain. From Captain Cook's fatal encounter there in 1779 to the diplomatic visit of Hawaii's king and queen to London 50 years later, Hawaii's A Kingdom Crossing Oceans showcases 150 remarkable artefacts. Thanks for your company today. See you next time on Arts 24.